The upcoming revision of the federal dietary guidelines is set to bring significant changes, raising both concerns and questions about the motivations behind these adjustments. With the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, and the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, conducting a line-by-line review of the 2025 dietary guidelines for Americans, a major shift in public health policy is underway. The announcement has sparked both anticipation and apprehension, particularly as political influences appear to be playing an increasing role in shaping what Americans are advised to eat. The upcoming recommendations, set to be released by the end of 2025, will impact the nation's health for years to come. But whether these changes will genuinely improve public well-being or cater to specific ideological and corporate interests remains to be seen. One of the most alarming aspects of this review process is the growing influence of political ideology on dietary recommendations. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins has explicitly stated that the new guidelines will be based on sound science, not political science, and that gone are the days where leftist ideologies guide public policy. Such statements raise concerns that the guidelines may be shaped by political leanings rather than unbiased, evidence-based nutritional research. The risk of ideology overshadowing scientific integrity is a serious issue, as past dietary guidelines have already been criticized for being swayed by industry lobbying rather than prioritizing public health. If this new review process is driven by political motivations rather than nutritional science, Americans could be steered toward dietary choices that do not align with the latest medical research, potentially worsening the nation's already alarming rates of obesity, heart disease, and metabolic disorders. Another red flag comes from the close collaboration between government officials and major food industry representatives. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recently met with executives from some of the largest food corporations in the country, including Kraft Heinz, General Mills, Tyson Foods, WK, Kellogg Co., The Jam, Smucker Company, and PepsiCo. While these companies are major players in the food industry, they also have a vested interest in shaping dietary recommendations in ways that benefit their businesses. Historically, large food corporations have used their influence to ensure that dietary guidelines favor their products, sometimes at the expense of public health. For instance, past guidelines have promoted high-carbohydrate diets that benefited grain and cereal companies, despite emerging research suggesting that excessive processed carbohydrate consumption contributes to obesity and metabolic diseases. The fact that Kennedy is working closely with these industry leaders raises concerns that the revised guidelines may once again prioritize corporate profits over the well-being of the American people. One of the most controversial topics in this revision is the treatment of dietary fats. The existing guidelines from the Biden administration included oils such as canola, corn, olive, peanut, safflower, soybean, and sunflower oils as part of a healthy diet, citing their essential fatty acids. However, supporters of the Make America Healthy Again (MAHA) movement have strongly opposed the use of seed oils in food, instead advocating for natural animal fats, such as beef tallow and butter. While the debate over fats is ongoing in the nutrition community, drastic changes to dietary recommendations based on ideological movements rather than robust scientific consensus could lead to confusion and unintended health consequences. While some studies suggest that seed oils contribute to inflammation and metabolic disorders, they're still widely recognized as sources of healthy, unsaturated fats. Conversely, while natural animal fats may offer certain benefits, excessive consumption of saturated fats has been linked to increased heart disease risk. The risk of oversimplifying this debate and making extreme shifts in dietary recommendations without sufficient scientific backing could lead to misleading and potentially harmful advice for the public. Another critical concern is the proposed elimination of the GRA, generally recognized as safe, loophole. While closing this loophole could be a step toward greater food safety, the sudden removal of long-accepted ingredients and chemicals from the food supply without clear scientific justification or alternatives in place could lead to unintended disruptions. The GRA system, while flawed, has been a long-standing framework for determining food safety in the U.S. Without a well-defined replacement strategy, eliminating this loophole could create regulatory confusion disrupt food production, and even lead to supply chain issues. Moreover, if decisions about food safety are made based on political affiliations rather than comprehensive toxicological studies, consumers may end up with arbitrary restrictions that do not necessarily lead to improved health outcomes. The broader implications of these upcoming dietary guideline changes extend far beyond individual food choices. Federal dietary guidelines shape school meal programs, nutritional assistance programs like SNAP, and even hospital and military food policies. If these recommendations are based on ideological or corporate influences rather than rigorous scientific research, the health of millions of Americans could be at risk. Misguided dietary policies could worsen public health issues such as obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, further straining an already burdened healthcare system. While some of the proposed changes may bring positive reforms, such as increased transparency and accountability in food safety, the overarching concern is whether these revisions will be made in the public's best interest or serve political and corporate agendas. The American people deserve dietary guidelines that are grounded in the best available science, free from ideological bias or industry manipulation. As the USDA and HHS move forward with their review, it is crucial that independent health experts, nutritionists, and medical professionals play a central role in shaping the final recommendations. Without rigorous scientific scrutiny and public accountability, these changes could set a dangerous precedent for the future of public health policy in the United States.